Hello, friends. My name is Dane Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain. And we are, of course, your fuck buddies.
We're a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into slightly stickier, sexy situations.
Oh, shit.
Did
We've
I
upped
do
the
it?
ante.
Did I do it?
Well, what's special about this week is we are doing our very first, and possibly the first ever, podcast unboxing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hand our podcast to Dane and just tell me, first impressions. We'll swap back and forth. I think your cat wants to get in.
I thought it was your chair squeaking. I was like, what the fuck are you doing over there?
The cat knows we're playing with a box in here. So.
So the first, feeling that I get, it's got a good weight to it.
Yeah, well, I think
heft.
that's probably all the advice.
Yeah.
It's jam-packed. Hold on, let me... Oh my god.
Yeah, open that door.
Are you coming in?
Hello, Oliver.
He's coming in.
It's been a while since he's
Oliver's
come in,
he's
but
just straight up
today
in
is
here.
the day that he's decided.
Oh.
Well, I guess fuck this intro.
Yep.
Oliver's decided to. Hi, buddy.
Don't you dare get rid of this intro. So I'm gonna squeeze this box here.
Sorry, I got distracted by petting Oliver.
It's fine. I'm squeezing this box. There's no give. It's jam packed full of advice.
Yeah, it's hefty, and it's surprising because I consider how small it is and how easy it is to take with you.
Yeah. You could almost fit it in your phone.
Yeah, it's jam packed.
Yeah, and I think you get a new one every Monday.
Yeah, it's almost like a subscription thing, but like you don't even
pay. Wow, those boys are doing it for free.
It just kind of shows up.
That's fucking wild.
Should we open it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tear?
I was gonna try to do some Foley work there. Yeah. It's weird that they sealed the box with an old haunted door, an old haunted wooden door.
Yeah, well, you missed.
That's a style choice, I guess.
You can go with the haunted knocker. So, what's the first thing you see in there?
It looks like everything's just been drenched with whiskey and beer. Yeah, there is a very strong aroma. As soon as you open it, you just get hit in the face with stale alcohol
and closet. I can definitely pick up some closet.
Yeah, there's definitely.
Wow, it's pretty much totally closet. Oh my god, the inside of the box is a closet.
Yeah. There's also it seems like the inside, or maybe the tape, maybe the adhesive has just little drips of boy sweat as well.
Yeah, I can definitely get some boy energy from this. Okay. So again, a lot of advice, a lot. There's a collection of, it looks like some bad jokes. I don't know. I'm not sure why they put them in there.
Yeah, there seems to be sort of a
maybe
a
too
side
many
section. Maybe that's just sort of like a little nudge, a little in joke. You know what I mean? But there definitely does seem to be. I would say maybe too many.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? Maybe that's its charm.
Yeah, I mean, the more of these that we get, I think we might actually come to look forward to the bad jokes.
Hopefully, yeah.
You know what I mean? And be like, oh, I wonder what they're going to be this week.
This piece looks like it's like a puzzle piece. It doesn't fit into anything, but if we'd gotten last week's one, maybe they would have went together and made something.
Yeah, it seems like you kind of need to get every box in order to understand sort of what the hell all of the boxes mean.
Yeah, okay. But wow, God, that advice, just drowning it over here.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It seems to be that's why you're getting the box. You're getting the box for the advice. All the extra stuff is just kind of just bonus.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's a question in here. I'm gonna read it out.
Okay, yeah.
Hold on, let me just. Oh man, there's so much advice. It's so good and hefty advice. It's hard to find the. There it is. Okay, cool. So, oh wow, looks like a question from Reddit. This is by Arshad96. Girl I'm seeing is dating 3 other guys. How do I become her number 1? This girl I'm going out with is seeing 3 other men. She's probably sleeping with some of them, and has told me she wants to explore her options. Is it just me, or is this fucking weird? What the fuck? She never told me she was seeing other people, and it was 5 dates in she told me.
As someone who's recently started watching all the Fast and the Furious movies, I think the only thing that you can do here is challenge them to a race war.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever wins, whoever comes in first place, you're the number 1.
I shit you not, that is what they call the races in the first movie, and I don't understand how anybody thought that was okay.
This is now our Fast and the Furious podcast, guys.
Oh yeah, we're also immediately, once we're done this, we're watching Tokyo Drift, which we all know should never happen.
We're gearing up to watch the new Fast and the Furious movies, but I haven't seen any of them, so So I want to get that rich back lore.
Oh yeah,
almost like our podcast, where you kind of need.
Almost like you need.
You need to see all of them.
Unbox each and every episode.
Yeah,
maybe multiple times. Sometimes you don't even need to open. You just need to download the box.
Yeah,
a lot
on different platforms.
Yeah, and then maybe rate, subscribe the box, and then maybe give a box to your friend.
Yeah, maybe hand that box over and
maybe bully them until they open the box, and then guess what? They're gonna hand another box to somebody. It's wild.
Yeah. I already don't remember what the question is.
Okay, well, I'm going to do it backwards. Is it him, or is this fucking weird?
No, it's not weird.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not weird at all.
If you're not, again, we've talked about this 1,000 times. If you haven't had the exclusive talk, it is safe to assume that the person you are dating and sleeping with are sleeping with other people.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Like, you have no ownership of this person. Yeah. I think it's actually kind of cool that she told you, because at least she's being open.
Yeah.
Again, always depends on the context of the telling, but I'm gonna just assume it was okay.
Yeah.
She's probably sleeping with some of them. Probably sleeping with all of them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No one's dating someone and not sleeping with them. I'm sure there is someone, but like in the modern age, it is safe to assume if someone is dating someone, they're also probably sleeping with someone.
Yeah. It's also probably I assume everybody has the same kind of when you sleep with someone between people. I doubt it's wildly different between people. So if she's sleeping with one dude after 5 dates, she's probably sleeping with dude 2 after 5 dates. Yeah. Unless something else is happening. You don't know. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter. So get over that part. The fact that you're mentioning it means it's bothering you.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's bothering you, that's okay, I guess, but it also isn't, because you have no ownership over this person.
Yeah, if it's one of those things where you sort of expect exclusivity from the person you're dating, that's something you need to talk about. And it's and if they're not on board with it, then you're not a compatible match. Or you need to sort of maybe adapt to modern dating.
Yeah.
And understand that there's no harm, there's no sort of personal attack. It doesn't mean that she's not being satisfied by you. It doesn't mean that she prefers one person over than you. You know what I mean? It's she's literally doing what a healthy adult does, and is keeping her options open until she makes a decision.
Yeah, and I'm imagining that you guys basically haven't been seeing each other all that long, and she's probably trying to figure out which person she likes. Which, guess what? That's fucking normal and good. That's fine. Also,
I would just want to clarify my statement. She doesn't necessarily have to make a decision. If this is just how she wants to date and how she wants to maintain sexual relationships, also not choosing someone is a valid option.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Now, to the real question. How does he become her number one?
Realistically, not jokingly, the only way that this can happen is that you sit her down and tell her that you prefer exclusivity. That's pretty much the only way to be, unless you mean number one as in you're preferred, and the other you're cool with her keeping other people on the table. Then it's one of those things where you enter into you again have to set the parameters of your relationship, whatever it may be, whatever your criteria is. You have to be hey, I would like to continue seeing you, but in order for that to happen, here are the things that would make me comfortable.
Yeah,
and then she either says okay, or counter offers you, or you know what I mean,
or bye,
or she says I'm sorry, that's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm assuming for him. Oh my god, your cats are wild today.
They've decided today is the day.
They're just gonna sing the song of their people. I don't know if you guys can hear this, or it just sounds like we're fucking insane. But I assume what he means is how does he win the race to become her boyfriend? Because again, it doesn't strike me as the kind
in that case it's race wars.
It doesn't strike me as the kind of conversation or kind of situation where they should be dating, but she's still whatever. I assume it sounds like it's a very new thing, and she's also just mentioned that she's seeing other people.
He mentioned fifth date, so
again, yeah, exactly. So it's new as fuck, and I do think if you are let's be exclusive prematurely, it's probably going to go bad for you.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to become number one and be the one that wins out and the one that is better or seen as blah 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 is one. Don't act like you're don't try and be number one, because you're in competition with people that have no bearing on you whatsoever.
Exactly.
And if you start acting because of this situation, you're just gonna seem fucking insane. If you get weird or jealous or possessive or any of the things that are pretty much acting on this situation, you're gonna get shunted aside for someone who's not a lunatic.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can do is act on this. The best thing you can do is be chill and be you, because obviously she's seeing you for a reason. So if you just continue to be cool, then either maybe she does like somebody more than you, in which case, fuck it, that's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
Or one of the other people will be jealous and weird, and then they're gone. And now you're only fighting against two boys.
You made a very good point where you said she's dating you for a reason. So like it's not a competition. It's literally you have a redeeming quality, whatever it may be. Maybe the sex is great. Maybe you've got a great personality.
Maybe it's all of them.
Maybe everything.
Yeah. You could be perfect, and she just doesn't want to commit yet because it's 5 fucking dates.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Maybe after 5 dates, you find out she's dating people and freak out, and then she's like, "Oh, all those things were false. This guy actually sucks."
Yeah. So you need to take a step take a step back, and think, be like, why does her seeing other people bother me? Because it has nothing to. She's chosen to sleep with you and see you and date you.
Yeah.
So obviously there's nothing wrong with you.
Nope.
Because
she's not going to waste her fucking time, especially when she has other boys.
You literally know that she has other options. Multiple
Yeah.
other options. So for you to be on the table means that you have something to offer her that she desires.
Yep.
So
So like you're doing good.
Yeah, the insecurity that you have about her seeing other people is unfounded.
It's almost like completely disproven, because it's not like, oh, I only pick one guy and I give him X amount of time. So like, I picked you and I got to wait out my 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally like, yeah, these other people, of you, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Literally, there's nothing holding me to this, yet I still want to see you. And I'm still going to be honest with you, even knowing that this might scare you away or make you fucking implode.
Exactly. So you need to understand, and like sort of it's fine to be insecure, and it's fine if this is a new situation for you.
Yeah.
But process that. Take a second.
That's the thing. Feeling it, totally cool.
Take it in. Let yourself absorb it. Let yourself process it. But then understand. Be like, oh wait, hold on. I've been included in this situation. So
and also
if she didn't want me,
yeah,
I wouldn't be here.
Also, are you seeing other people or not? And if you're not, why? And if you are, why? Put yourself in her shoes and realize that, like, 1, she's totally allowed to do this. 2, there's nothing whatsoever wrong with this. And 3, like, if you act weirdly on this, you're definitely burning everything to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, the more you freak out about this and the more you sort of focus on it, the less likely you are to be kept around.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it sound like she has the whim to sort of like toss lovers to the side.
But you also do, right? If you want to toss her aside, you can do that too.
If you're not comfortable with this arrangement, and it's fine if you're not, there are plenty of people who are looking for monogamous relationships. That's not going to be a tough thing to find for you.
Yeah.
Then move on.
And honestly, if this is such a big deal for you, again, I don't know, but if you find it is, then yeah, maybe you should end it, because if you try and struggle through this thing that's like really bothering that you can't get past, it's not going to be good for either of you.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's not the issue, because I do feel like this is a very common and also healthy part of dating.
Absolutely.
And like if things progress and you guys actually do become exclusive or whatever, like you know that it was like really for a reason. It wasn't like, you know, like she likes you.
Yeah.
For a variety of things. It's not just like you were the only dude she ever met.
Yeah, I highly doubt she has a column of like guys she likes sex with, guys she likes going to like movies with, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
there is no real number one.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, unless you guys are entering into a very sort of like polyamorous situation where you have sort of like your main person that you're in a relationship with, and then you have offshoots that you're seeing. But like if you're just dating and no one is exclusive, or if you haven't had that conversation of like entering into a relationship, a committed relationship, whether it's monogamous or not, then these people are allowed to sleep with whoever they want, whenever they want, in whatever fashion they want. Again, if you're not cool with it, move on.
Yeah. Do you want to hear some of the fucking comments?
I absolutely don't.
It's weird. I've been this girl. If she's anything like me, she's not looking for a relationship, just attention. She wouldn't have gone on 5 dates with you and continue to see other people if this wasn't the case. I would back off. If she really likes you, she'll reach out. Chances are this won't happen. There are 3 other men in the picture. You're wrong. Never be in a relationship. If you want to hook up with her, cool, but she's not someone you want to date. She won't prioritize you. Wrong. Have self-respect. Don't date people screwing other people. Wrong.
That's crazy.
What the fuck is wrong with
What is date? Like, dating is literally seeing other people. Like, dating people.
one of my biggest fears. What?
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, I kind of expected everyone to be like...
And thus, ladies and gentlemen, why we have this podcast.
I know. Every now and then, I'm just so blown away by shit. Anyway, yeah, there's a million other ones.
So we got a really great email this week from a listener who she says she just started. We're going to give her an agent name of Agent Luxury.
Hell yeah. And welcome, friend of the show.
Yeah. She sent us a bunch of questions, and I'm going to try to get through as many of them as we can today, back and forth, but we will eventually get through all of them. So I will start with number one. I will give a little bit of background because she gave it. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 9 months now. 8 months of those have been long distance, but we recently moved in together and attend the same graduate school.
Hell yeah.
So question number one. We just started having sex recently, my first time, and I want to make sure it doesn't get too monotonous because I don't want him to get bored, or me really, but I feel like it's all new to me anyway. We both want to try new things, but I feel like I'm not experienced enough to know what to do exactly. Do you have any advice for keeping things interesting in the bedroom?
Bedroom? Ooh, bedroom. Ugh.
Are there things that girls have done in the bedroom that have pleasantly surprised you, aside from being enthusiastic and taking initiative? I know those are important.
Well, first, she's already doing real well.
You're doing a great fucking job. Let me tell you right now, already, like, it seems like you understand things.
Yeah, super positive. Fuck, you should be doing this show.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, like, the thing is, like, to shake it up, you don't even have to, like, do anything crazy. Like, you can just try a new position. You can, like, fuck on the desk, fuck standing up, fuck against the wall. Like, those are things you can get a lot of mileage out of those. I think one of the nicest and most important things is, like, I don't know how sex is, but, like, when you're getting to learn somebody's body, it takes a while no matter what, because everybody's different and whatever. So if you're straight up like, do this thing, I like it, that's great. Mm-hmm. And, like, the more confident that he is that he's giving you pleasure, and the more pleasure you're having, the more fun everybody's gonna be fucking having. Yeah. So, like, I think that is a big thing where, like, you don't be afraid to be like, hey, like, rub my clit, or like, hey, kiss my neck, or like, hey, bite my shoulder, or like, pull my hair a little bit. Like, and again, don't say them if you don't want them to happen.
And I also feel like it'll make sex for him easier too, because I feel like if I'm focusing more specifically on what pleasures a partner, I last longer. Yeah. Because I'm kind of like removed from the situation of being like,
because your pleasure comes after.
You know what I mean? It's like, and that's a lot of guys are just like happy to.
I'm just happy to be there.
Have their dick in something. You know what I mean? And like,
I may not have won the Oscar, but I'm happy to be nominated.
Yeah. But like, if you sort of remove yourself from that situation, and be like, oh, I know what she likes, and I'm gonna give her what she likes. Then that takes the pressure, and you're focusing on her, and all of a sudden you're able to last a little longer. I mean, again, it changes when she starts like really enjoying herself, or if she ever says, I'm going to come.
Yeah, or you're in the middle of something and all of a sudden she's like, kiss my neck, or like anything, and you're not expecting it, and it's just super hot, and you're like, oh god,
well, fuck,
Jesus. Then you're off Niagara in a barrel.
I would say, yeah, you don't need to, like, I've been having sex with the same woman for 4 years.
It never gets boring, don't worry.
If it's good sex, and you have good chemistry, and if you have good communication, it doesn't get boring. Like, I'm very happy to have sex with Amanda in Missionary. Like,
oh yeah, Missionary can be great.
I'm like, that's, to me, I'm not like, oh, here comes Missionary. No, not at all. It doesn't fucking matter, because what matters is consistently good sex. Yeah. If you're having consistently good sex, I would rather that over consistently, like, fresh sex. You know what I mean? Like, if Amanda was constantly being like, well, here's the time where I'm gonna, like, strap you into this thing, and I'm gonna, like, get onto you in this weird position, and now we're gonna, like, do this new thing that probably isn't going to feel great. It's like, I would, no, fuck that. I would rather you just get on top of me and ride me. In that situation,
it's like, obviously it's a little hyperbolic, but like, there's almost more prep and more thought about it's fresh than it is about being fun. And the thing is, like, you'll probably run out of fresh things to do if you try and do a new thing all the time.
That's the thing. It's going to get more monotonous.
You probably won't even fuck. Yeah. Whereas, like, if you're having fun, it doesn't matter. Like, legitimately, you will not get bored having sex. It just never happens. It hasn't happened in all of humanity. You might get bored of bad sex, or you might get bored of literally the same. Like, missionary is used as a derogatory thing in like TV and shit, but it's generally a stand-in for one, like, just boring sex or just the exact same sex.
Yeah. So my thing is, I would like just focus on good, consistent sex.
Mm-hmm.
What I would warn you against is routine sex.
Oh yeah, don't also just be like, oh, it's 7:00, that's our sex time, or
if you
can I
think,
pencil you
like,
in for sex at 4:00 later on?
Yeah.
Like,
if you only have sex at the same point in time every day, or like every week at the same time,
on
it's like,
the same surface,
that's when it gets monotonous.
Yeah.
So the advice I'd give you to avoid that is spontaneity.
Yeah.
Every now and then, like, if you guys are watching a movie and
just climb on.
just reach over and
Again,
just start
if you
stroking
want.
his dick.
If you want.
Yeah, like you'll get the, like, you'll get to know if he wants to or not, and hopefully you have the relationship where he can be like, oh, you know what, I actually like.
Which again is totally cool.
I'm not
Don't
really in the
take
mood.
that as a slight if it does happen.
Yeah, like, everyone is allowed to not want to have sex at certain points in time. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, and like, you don't really necessarily need a reason. If you just don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But like, yeah, every now and then, like, maybe, you know, after breakfast, or, you know, while you're making food,
Yeah, or just like, you know, it's bedtime and he's gone to brush his teeth or something, and you strip off and you wait in bed for him, and you know, that's a nice surprise.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. Also, if there's any kinks that you have harbored, now's the time to try and explore them, right? Maybe you want to buy a pair of handcuffs and just play with them. You know what I mean? Like, you can always surprise them or have a conversation with them, because you don't want to surprise anyone with anything a little too dramatic.
Yeah.
And you can do really simple things like a blindfold, right? You can do even more simple things like just go real slow. Like, have really, like, slow, like, maybe he can't move, maybe he can't interact, and it's all you.
Yeah.
And you're just going to make him come whatever the fuck way you want to, or vice versa. You know,
Exactly.
like, there are really, really simple things you can do. And again, I don't think it should be always, all the time gimmick, but, like,
Exactly.
feel free to throw them in every now and then.
Yeah. And like,
And especially, like, if there's something that excites you and you want to do, like, that's more of it, like, than trying to guess and anticipate what he might like.
exactly.
Unless you have, you know, some idea as to what that is.
Yeah. It's, like I said, routine is the enemy here. Consistency is not. If you have good, consistent sex, you're doing great. Regardless of whether it's one position, if you guys both come, if every time you have sex, it's missionary, and you guys both come and you have a great time and you love it, that's not boring.
No.
You're not having
I
boring
don't think
sex.
anyone's bored
That's
when they
not
come.
monotonous sex. It's like, well, yes, you're doing the same thing,
Yeah.
but if you're enjoying it, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. And if you want to shake it up, then you do it.
Yeah, if I got to have, like, my favorite fucking meals every day of the week,
You probably get sick
and I
of it.
still, yeah, I'd probably get sick of it.
Never mind.
Ignore that analogy.
Yeah, but no, and again, it's like, do what you want to do what feels right. Don't put yourself out. Like, don't worry that maybe he's bored, so you got to do this thing that you're not really into, because if you're doing something you're not into, or you're doing something like performatively because you're worried that that's what he might want, I think that's when sex might stop being fun, especially for you, but also for them, because they'll sense if you're not really into it.
Yeah.
And if you're not into it, you're not going to have a good time. And then, like, that can be the trap of, like, trying to overdo keeping sex, like, fresh and wild and whatever. And I feel like sometimes people in new relationships or who are new to sex do that, where, like, it's a little try-hardy, where you're just like, oh, it's fucking, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're also in a really good position where, like, you guys are starting your sexual relationship together. You can create really good sexual habits. Like, it's not like you've been sleeping together for 5 years and all of a sudden you want to introduce new whatever. It's like you can start really good things, like talk about sex after having sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, have a little pre-sex cuddle and chat and be like, did you like that? What could I have done? Post-sex, yes.
Yeah, or even just be like, you don't even need to ask. You can just be like, I loved when you did X.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a very simple, easy way, and you're also bolstering them, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, I mentioned it before, but, like, if your partner knows they're pleasuring you, the sex will only get better.
Yeah.
You could fall into the trap of, like, a one-trick pony, where, like, they think it's the only thing that works.
Yeah, but then you can always suggest new things.
Yeah. Or every time they do something, like, don't be like, I fucking love it when you did this. give them options. Be like, this was really good. This was really good.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that. You know what I mean? So now they have 3 things. So like, if you're running the risk of like them doing 3 things that you fucking love, like,
then you're
that's the
having
goddamn dream.
You're better than most people fucking in the world.
Exactly.
Because there are a grim amount of people who just have a real bad time in that. So yeah, I think there's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Man, wait, we just took out all this advice from the box. There's still more.
There's still more. It's almost like there's a false bottom in this box.
Oh my god, this closet is walk-in. This is a walk-in closet.
It's a walk-in
You
closet.
could fit 2 boys in here.
Yeah.
Maybe even 1 cat.
Yeah. Maybe even 1 gay boy.
True, we could definitely. We could fit a 3rd boy in here.
Yeah.
Do you want to do number 2?
Yeah. Just do back to back.
Oh yeah, why not? You send us your questions, we will fucking answer them. Also, can I just point out, thank you. I love when people we don't know send us stuff in, because then we feel like we're doing anything successful. If you want, feel free to message us and let us know like how you found out about the show, and yeah, you're a friend of the show now, so you can do things like that.
Yep. Okay. So question number 2 is, I don't orgasm during penetration, as one doesn't, but I like that little add-on. But I'm also not particularly turned on by fingering or toys. I'm only ever turned on by his dick down there, nothing else. Any advice for me reaching orgasm if those things don't do it for me?
Well, a lot of people don't do it via penetration, so
Yeah.
I think the good old like fucking old-fashioned classic crime duo of clit and penetration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find a good position where it's easy for him to manipulate your clit while he's fucking you, or do it yourself.
I'm trying to figure out how I can combine manipulate and clit.
Clit manipulate.
Clit. Yeah, I know. In my head, it sounds like it should go together, but it just doesn't. Clit manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maclitinate. So like, if you're like lying on your front, there's an easy way for him to like slip an arm under. If you're in doggy style, depending on how it is, once he doesn't need both arms to like steady himself or grab you or whatever, should be able to do that. Like lying on your side. If you're doing like an old like, he lies on his side, you lie on your back, like a T shape. There's a bunch of like really easy positions for him also being able to rub your clit.
Yeah.
Or you can just do it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the thing. If you're comfortable with touching yourself,
Yeah.
No guy in the world. I mean, no, that's not true. We've had questions where people have been
Yeah, some
upset.
people will get upset, and like if that is the case, you can always
Just
either
let 'em
one be
know.
like, "Cool, then do you want to do it?" Like,
Yeah.
or just be like, "I'm sorry, I got carried away by whatever," or just like it turned me on watching you fuck me, so I want
Yeah.
to like just
Um,
or just be like, "These idiot boys in the closet told me to do it," and then don't even give him any context.
yeah, just tell them
Just tell them that. Just be like 2 idiot boys in the closet. That's what they said.
or just drop our name. Just be like, Dan and I told me.
Yeah, Dan and Niall said do this, and literally no other context.
Yeah. It's I think it's also give up the idea that you don't come via penetration.
Yeah.
Just get rid of that idea. And it's like it might be true,
Mm-hmm.
and if it is, it is. But like, don't focus on it anymore.
No,
kind of
because-
take it out of your mind and be like, oh, I've never come
Yeah,
via
and also just
penetration.
have penetration be like the icing on the cake, right? So like
Yeah.
while you're coming from clitoral stimulation, have that sort of, like don't think of penetration as like the thing I'm not coming from. Think of it as the thing that feels really good.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people I know were in the cannot come from penetration camp, and now as a result of like just having like good sex with people, also like you guys have barely been fucking.
Yeah, give it some
Like,
time.
Not in the, I'm not saying that in a bad way at all, like, but you're pretty new to this, so don't
Yeah.
worry about it. And thinking about it, never gonna help.
Yeah.
So just, it's a good thing. Fuck yeah. Like, enjoy it. Make yourself come in other ways, and like, don't overthink it. But like, I know a lot of people who once they've come with their like clit wise, they can come arse wise. No, inside wise.
Yeah, it's
So it's one of those things. But again, and even if it doesn't matter. Like, do what you need to do to come.
yeah.
And-
She also doesn't mention oral. There's
Oh,
no
yeah,
mention
get
of
some
oral
fucking
there.
oral. And that's
But,
the
like,
thing, like,
She
if-
does say I'm only ever turned on by his dick down there, but like in the things that she says that she's not interested in, she doesn't
yeah,
list
she
oral.
does not mention
So
oral.
if
Try that oral, it's great.
that's the thing is like if he can knock 2 or 3 out of the park before he even gets going, then it's like, okay, cool. It's like
Yeah.
it might not work for you on the inside, but you've already come. Like you're everything.
Once you
everything
come,
after
where you
this
come
is,
from
is
doesn't really
fucking-
matter.
Yeah, is icing on the cake. There's also a bunch of positions that can help. You can look them up online. There's things like using a pillow underneath you
Yeah.
to raise you up, and that
So you
like
kind of like hit that wall.
yeah, it allows the pelvic floor to be a little more accessible. There's doggy style, which is also a really easy way to sort of hit that. There's prone if you're coming in at the right angle, if you're lying flat on your back.
And a lot of these are also good for clitoral stimulation. So
Yeah.
fucking double up.
If you're lying flat on your back and don't let him come in like horizontally, almost down, if that makes sense. That tends to help. Again, also just don't be afraid to say, hey, can you like scoot back, or can you angle a little lower, can you angle a little higher? There's work together. Like this is
And, like, there's nothing wrong with
a
looking.
team sport.
There's nothing wrong with going online and looking up, like, what's a good position for X, what's a good position for Y. Like, you'll find something.
Yeah, and I know you said you didn't like toys, but adding a vibrator into the mix, if you require clitoral stimulation, even if he's doing it, it takes a lot of the pressure off of like manual dexterity of like trying to rub at a certain rhythm while also trying to fuck at a certain rhythm in certain positions.
It's
like
definitely
being
a
able to
fucking skill you gotta learn.
Yeah,
and
being
it's
able
hard.
to just sort of like grab a little vibrator, just like even one of those like tiny little like 3
Little
inch,
vibey
2
boys.
inch, like little pocket boys, and like hold that there. Either he's doing it or you're doing it. Give it a try, because I'm telling you, coming during sex is worth getting over like a fear of toys or a preference to not use toys.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, it'll change your life.
I want to make a joke about putting a PlayStation controller down there and being the Apex jump master and
Hell yes.
jumping when you're...
Also do that and just fucking hold the gun.
Oh yeah, R99. Or extended mag devotion. Oh, Spitfire.
Oh,
There
Spitfire,
we go.
baby. Yeah, get that level 3 mag.
I promise you no one gets any
We're
of these
very
jokes who
specifically
listens.
casting towards a very specific
I would
audience
love
right
if
now.
anybody gets any of that joke, just let us know.
Just tag us. Just message us on
and
Twitter.
if no one messages, I will assume nobody does, and I will double down next week.
Yeah, we will just keep making Apex references.
Speaking of next week, I said 2 episodes ago that next week I would talk about vagismus in further detail. The reason why I haven't is because, one, there's not all that many reliable resources online, but secondly, somebody was going to come on and talk about it, but we're trying to figure out how to have her on because it's like a international thing. So I didn't forget, and I'm not shunting it aside.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Again, like we said in our first episode, we don't know what we're doing when
We've
it comes
no
to
idea.
podcasting. So we're trying to figure out how to have a guest remotely where we can't get them in the closet physically with us.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how to have like a guest...
Like Skype
somewhere-
us
yeah,
or something,
Skype
and still
or
have it
something.
be listenable quality.
Yeah. So once we figure that out, we are going to go back to that situation.
So sorry if you think I'm just being a shit.
No.
You know what? That makes sense for the box. There's just this pile of question marks in one little corner. So I guess
Yeah.
it's probably just the boys not knowing what the fuck they're doing.
You got a question for me?
Yeah, sure. Do we appropriately answer that one? I think we did, right?
I think we did.
This has all been pretty wholesome and straightforward. So we're going to go deep into seduction.
Oh, no. Why did I ask?
So this is by Holliero.
Oh.
And they say, with all this game, do you create a pattern which can lead to sex addiction and ruin potential relationships? If you can get any girl you want, wouldn't you have a hard time staying in a relationship with one girl?
This is too real for me right now.
But that's the thing, man. Like, it's a dangerous game, right? That's why I don't learn. Because, like, if you get that game, you can get any... No, you can get anyone. So why would you have anyone? The one underlined. You'd have every. You'd have any all.
I know you're joking right now. This is like a legit struggle that I had a few years ago before I started dating Amanda.
See, this is not a serious question because the supposition in the question is that game actually lets you get any girl you want, which let's go back to all the previous advice for games such as the emotional roller coaster. Do that one.
The sweat closet.
Hey, I like you. I don't like you. I do. Get under my fucking hoodie.
Yeah.
Also, the first comment, which I'm sure it comes from a guy who definitely fucks. Yeah, it's a zero-sum game. If you're more than a player, you can't commit to a serious relationship. If you pull that perfect 10 and fall for her, there's a good chance you'll eventually get crushed and feel as hopeless as you did before you became a player. IDK about sex addiction. If anything, pick up cured mine. What?
Doesn't make any sense at all.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
I will. So here's what I'm going to bring up for this is
Turn it serious. Okay.
I'm gonna talk about it because like
Oh, my goddamn joke question.
we got to get something out of them.
We're just gonna rag on seduction a little more.
When I was on Tinder, I mentioned that like I kind of like figured it out, and it got to the point where I was just like, I was able to sleep with pretty much everyone I went on a date with.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I like solved some universal equation.
I'm gonna go back and count the amount of times you've said you solved Twitter
I've
because you've
solved-
lit. I
I've
mean, not
solved
Twitter,
Tinder.
Tinder or
I
Twitter.
have no idea how Twitter works.
Because you have definitely said that.
I have.
Hashtag called out.
But it was one of those things where it's like I got to the point where I oversaturated myself with options, and I believe it's Damian Rice who said there are too many options can kill a man.
I'm gonna throw up.
And it's one of those things where like I got to the point where like it became almost like a second nature to me to like go on Tinder and swipe and find a date and have sex with them, and then like. And I would never just sort of like never see them again, but for whatever reason, like whether it maintained or didn't, whatever. And it got to the point where it was so like nauseating for me, where I was just like doing this out of sort of like rote repetition.
Well, that's another thing I love about this question is that like it presupposes that situation would be ideal, whereas like they're entirely missing the point of relationships. Where
Well, he mentioned sex addiction, right?
Well, yeah, but
Because like I honestly do believe that I had either a very minor case of or like suffered from sex addiction, where like I required sex from multiple people to validate my self-worth.
yeah,
And like
I don't know if that's technically sex addiction though, right? Like sex addiction is when it literally like it gets out of hand and starts to affect your life in a lot of different ways. It's not that you get your self-worth from it, which I think a lot of people do. I definitely have been guilty of that, but I don't know. I'd have to look up the
I don't know the
actual
definition of sex addiction, but it was one of those things where it's like if I wasn't sleeping with a certain amount of people or if I wasn't having a certain amount of sex, I felt terrible with myself, and I literally put things that I cared about, whether it was like friendship relationships or relationships with people who I actually cared about and were sleeping with at the time, at risk in order to pursue sexual relationships with people that I don't want to say didn't matter, but
we're
very
less kind of
casual
important,
or just like sort of like a one-time thing.
No, I hear you. I've definitely been there, but
and it very easily could have carried over into things like maybe I wouldn't have dated Amanda. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't.
But I feel like the reason why it didn't carry over is because that's not a nice situation to be in. Like really. Because again, this person.
Luckily, I had people who pointed that out to me.
But like
yourself included.
Yeah, but I feel like what I love about this question is they don't seem to understand relationships. Because there's no like.
Well, I feel like a lot of people who rely on game tend not to have the strongest support system, whether it's family or friends or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like it tends to be a coping mechanism to bolster their self-worth through their like means of being like, look how many women I can get, and that is sort of how they sort of deal with that. Where I was lucky enough to have really, really good friends who, again, yourself included,
Thank you.
our other friends, who were very eager to sort of be like, you're not making good decisions. And it's hard to hear that, but it's also important to hear that from people that you care about and people that you respect. And I feel like this guy probably doesn't have a whole lot of them.
Yeah. I'm assuming this person is probably quite young and probably inexperienced. Again, I could be wrong, but it seems to me like they found out about game, they're thinking about their future through game, and they're like, but what if?
Yeah.
And I think to answer the question seriously, maybe there's a risk, but one, game is not the be-all and end-all.
Yeah,
because
no.
I'm sorry, bud, but no, most of it is going to work the opposite way.
Yeah.
But secondly, it's like, no matter how many people you're casually sleeping with, I think there's always going to be that void, depending on, maybe not for everybody, but like, there's definitely something to be said for relationships because you get so much from them.
Yeah, and
like
again,
love and
like
support and happiness and like all these
relationship
things.
doesn't necessarily mean monogamous.
No, exactly.
Like before, during my sort of like peak troublesome period, it was before I met people that I had consistent relationships with, and then I met 2 girls, and then I met Amanda, and I had a consistent sexual relationship with the 3 of them. That sort of really grounded me, and I was like, I
Because
don't.
they were relationships without the, the price tag or whatever.
Yeah,
the
it was nice because they were like grounded in reality, and they were consistent, and they were good to me, and they actually like appreciated me, which was something I didn't feel for a very long time.
Yeah, because if you're just having like one night stands, you don't necessarily get that.
No, absolutely not. You get that sort of like flash in the pan high.
Yeah,
and
boom,
yeah,
sex,
it's like,
I did it.
It's like, oh, thank God someone wants me. And
like
oh,
that
thank
Akon
God.
Lonely Island song.
Exactly.
It's literally that. And then you're back to, I gotta do real life.
And then she leaves either that night at like 4 a.m, or you are sitting awake all night hoping she'll leave at like 8 a.m, and then you're alone again. And
or she won't get the fuck out at 3 p.m. and you're like, please.
And then
That was a specific situation.
hyper aware of just how alone you are in that regard. And again, like I was in a very unique position where I was also very lucky enough to have really, really good friends and people that I respected and cared about who also reciprocated that. You know what I mean? Who also cared about me. And I don't know, like if I didn't have you and if I didn't have our other group of friends, I don't know if I would have been mature enough or responsible enough to, or, you know what I mean, like healthy enough to pursue a relationship with Amanda.
I think you would have.
I don't know.
I feel like it's one of those things where like you dip, like I think everyone goes through like peaks and valleys, especially like when you're out of like a relationship, depending on how it ended and, you know, where you are in life and who's around you and all this shit. Like you can definitely go down that like that valley where you're like, I only want casual things, I only want whatever, and like depending on how important sex is to you and how much you want it, you can want a lot of sex, which if you're not in a relationship means you're gonna have to find new people and blah 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 blah, and none of those things are really, they're fulfilling in certain ways and not in others, depending on the relationships. Like you can have sex with the same person a bunch of times, or you know, whatever, but I do feel like eventually you do start to go back into that peak where like you get over what's happened, or you realize you're missing something or whatever. Like I don't see anybody, I don't know, I just feel like it's just one of those things you have to, those journeys you have to take where you figure out where you're at and what you want, right? And also it's about meeting the right person too. You know, because a lot of what that is like, you know, I think somebody in that first question we did likened dating to like an interview, where it's like you're interviewing people, they're interviewing you, and it's this whole thing. So like a lot of those things are interviews. Like if you went home with someone, had a really good time and wanted to see them and they want to see you, then you don't know where that would go.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's a whole bunch of things. But I do think the problems with this question are, one, not even thinking of the benefits or the positives of being in a relationship, and two, thinking that game is this godlike figure that
I think it's super interesting that you already understand the dangers of this mentality.
Yeah.
Like you're already very much aware that like this could lead you down a path that is super unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like no addiction is good.
No.
Even if it's sex, you know what I mean? Like
no,
sex
not
is
at all.
great.
Sex addiction is terrible.
We all fucking love sex, but like being addicted to anything, regardless of what it is, whether it's sugar, sex, drugs, alcohol, whatever, addiction is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like just a baseline.
Because it's a reliance. And if you're reliant on something, then...
So if you already understand that this sort of mentality and this sort of like persona that you're willing to adopt could lead to something terrible, that should give you an indication of how terrible that sort of persona that you're willing to adopt is. And like I would love to go back to my younger self and be like, hey, like you don't need this.
Would you though?
I don't know. I mean, like I lucked out and I'm very, very content where I am now. So like I'm very happy to have gone through the things that I went through.
And that's the thing is like I've definitely made bad decisions. I've definitely been in situations, and like I guess technically if I went back I could do better, but the only reason I could do better is because I've learned, and the only reason I learned is because I did those things. So it's like,
It's funny, Amanda and I actually had a fairly long conversation about this last night, where I was just like, I'm glad I went through that that phase. Like, I'm super glad. I understand, looking back at it now, I totally understand that it was wildly unhealthy, and I was in a very bad place. But I was like, I'm very, very happy I went through that journey, because here I am.
well,
And
that's the thing.
and I'm very happy with and I'm not saying that I can't grow more and I can't learn more. I know there's still
oh, of course, yeah.
there's still so much
But it's
that
like-
I can fucking do, but
You don't, like, you learn by making mistakes. Right?
there's also Facebook memories is a really great indicator of how much you've grown when you go back through the things that you thought were jokes when you were younger, and or like the things that you were willing to say to people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, there are times where, like, I'll see posts where I've made a thing, like, just a post being like, off on a Friday night, who's around? And a girl will be like, oh, hey, I'm doing this thing. And I'll be like, or maybe you come to the after party, wink, wink, and quoting. And it's like, she was literally being nice and inviting you to a social event, and I was a fucking dirtbag. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's good to see how much you've grown. Because some of the things I did. I said.
I've been on this day just to see if I could find anything funny to add to this conversation. And 2015, currently in work, and found out neither of the people I'm working with have ever seen Back to the Future. I'm so upset. And then 2017, ruining Game of Thrones is like ruining an orgasm. You'd only do it if you're bad in bed. So no, I have nothing to add to that. But yeah, no, it is funny when you see like where you've come from, and then like,
Yeah, and it's like, that's why we put the disclaimer on, being like, I'm sure you could go through my Facebook history. I'm sure if someone really wanted to, they could go through my social media history and find all sorts of stupid bullshit
like,
that I've said.
Also for everybody, like no one's born perfect.
Also,
or I guess maybe you are, and then you fuck it up.
I'm
like,
very, very proud of my growth. Like, I'm very
Yeah.
happy that I can look back and be like, oh, that's super not cool to say.
yeah.
But now I know that. Like,
And that's the thing, like I this whole like looking back on like famous people's like Instagrams and Twitters and Facebooks and finding something said 12 years ago and being like, well, now you're fucked for life.
yeah.
I think is kind of wild, because like if they still have those sentiments now, yeah, by all means. But like just because you said or fucked up or were wrong or just whatever a few years ago, again, obviously depending on the fucking severity.
Yeah.
I think it should be heralded more as a like, hey, they grew,
Yeah.
as opposed to now you're dead to me.
There's a great
you did
example
something wrong.
of Travis McElroy. Apparently, I honestly have no idea what the reference was, but he posted this whole thing on Twitter. I think it was like a month ago or so, where he was like, "Hey guys, I'm really sorry for what I said," and everyone was just like, "Dude, we've listened to you grow over the past like 7 years or whatever." It's like, the person you were back then doesn't exist anymore. Like you've literally, you're like honestly an honorary member of these like communities that you have bolstered. And I was like, it's so cool to see that people understand that.
Yeah, it's really refreshing, because like
I would hate to see people who, again, like it very easily be me.
your growth should be applauded more than, again, also depending on the severity. Like
Yes.
if someone's like ran over a child with my car, and then it's like, I would never
Can't
run
wait
over
to
a child.
do it
with-
again.
I would never do that. It's like, well, it's been 10 years. You're right. No, like you killed a child with your car and gloated. I'm sorry, you're
Yeah.
done. But like, anyway, you get it.
Yes. All right, let's do one more
Sure.
from Agent Luxury.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna skip question 3. We'll get to question 3. I think it's a little more of a discussion than we have time for. But we'll come back to it. Number 4, however,
It's dirty.
oh, it's filthy. This one is a bit much, but techniques for hand jobs and blowjobs.
That's not too much. Don't worry. We've had worse.
I do these both, and he likes them, but I think I can be better. I've asked him before what he likes, but it would be cool to also surprise him with some new techniques. Now is currently worshiping
Can I just
me.
praise this person
Yeah.
for like
You're doing well.
just the best? Like, I know I can be better. We can all be better.
yeah.
And if you're constantly striving to be better, that's the fucking best.
That's literally the stance you should be when you engage in sexual relationships, is being like,
I can be better.
I can do this better.
Because, I mean, like, you can.
Yeah.
It never stops. You always get better. So, fuck yeah. And secondly, I asked him, and Also, fuck yes to that. You were the best.
Yeah.
God damn it.
You're doing
You know
a
what?
really good job. So
User of the month. You're on the wall.
the thing that I would really like to illustrate is like, it's cool that you're asking us, and I'm glad you're asking us for advice. But you
Each
also
dick is
have
different.
You have very, very good instinct on how to handle these situations, and you've done them correctly, or
Yeah.
at least what we would normally suggest.
Well, I think like the irony is like if you're open to advice and you're open to doing things, you're probably the kind of person who's doing pretty well in the bedroom anyway, but you're also probably the only person who'd be willing to go and seek advice. So it's like there's probably people who aren't open to new stuff who are like, oh, fuck advice. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like this weird thing where like just being open and being receptive is like, I guess, characteristics of people that seek advice, but also the really good characteristics for being good in bed.
Yeah.
So it's like this catch-22 where like the people probably best suited to be good in these things are also the ones who are ironically asking for advice, but it's cool. Yeah, let's start with hand jobs. Firstly, you got to realize dicks are real sensitive, especially the head. Like, it's real sensitive. So you got to be really careful with it. So if they're uncircumcised...
Only punch it a few times.
Oh, no, like, constantly punch it. It's not called a punching bag for no reason. You know, like...
That common dick term, the punching
Yeah,
bag.
like, oh...
That's what they call it in London.
What happened? Yo, I whipped out my punching bag, and it's black and blue now. Not just from veins, am I right? But no. So the top's really sensitive. So you're gonna need some lube, or some saliva, or some real light touching, or some pre-cum action. You know, don't just go on it raw. You can always use the foreskin if they got one. You know, you don't want to go too fast. Definitely never break the banjo string. You don't want to do that.
What the hell is break the banjo string?
It's a little string connecting the head of your...
Oh, yes, the frenellum? Frenellum? I
I'm
believe?
sorry, it's the banjo string.
I'm pretty sure it's the frenellum.
I'm pretty sure it's the banjo string. Don't break that. And you don't... And, like, obviously breaking that is, like, a whole other thing, but you don't want them to ever consider the fact that you might. Because if that gets in their head once, it's going to be in their head for the rest of their life. So don't pull down too hard.
Oh, why did I... Oh, God. Why did I Google that?
You're a fool.
I accidentally Google image search frenellum tear.
Mm-hmm. So, oh, why?
It autocorrected and... Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to throw up in the corner. So, yeah, be wary of the head. It's where the best... It's basically the clit of the dick. It's the best, most sensitive part, but it also needs the most sensitive care. If you heavily lube it up, you can just you can do some pretty gnarly things to it.
Yeah,
But
the more lubrication, the less friction that's happening down
and the
there,
more force you can
wilder
apply.
you can get.
And like other than that, it's like, you know, you can go like achingly slow. You can go like pretty fast. You don't want to go too fast. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to just be that fucking jackhammer until it's time, maybe. But like, just be confident. Also, is another thing. Like if you're like hesitantly like just fucking like, nobody wants to feel like you're gonna break the banjo string. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, see, like I've had like almost no experience with hand jobs.
Dane's weird.
I graduated. I think I skipped a grade.
There's no graduating. There's no skipping a grade. There's no stuff like thinking that like hand jobs are like down the bottom of the pool and blowjobs and sex or whatever.
Down the bottom of the pool.
Not if you get them done right, man. Anyway, so like if you're gonna go direct head stuff, you need lube. You need spit. You need lube. You need whatever. Just don't go dry on that unless it's the lightest it touches. Then even then you gotta be careful. But yeah, just like practice with like harder grips, like less hard grips, like both hands, one hand, you know.
Close fist punches.
Yeah, just punch so much, so hard. You know what? I really worry that someone will take this seriously and just like wail on a dick.
Yeah, some poor guy's getting his dick punched tonight.
Don't punch a dick.
Don't punch anyone's dick.
I don't think ever.
Although, to be fair, there are people who are into that.
Oh yeah, if they want you to, that's cool.
Don't unexpected. Don't sucker punch a dick. I think is the.
Also, I think like one of the like hottest, most unexpected things that had happened to me was I was getting
Uppercut a dick.
Oh yeah, just like no, use their elbows. Just like fucking...
Well, Muay Thai that dick.
Yeah, exactly. Don't...
Krav Maga.
Yeah, just be careful that you don't
I don't know.
The dance-
Capoeira?
don't capoeira a dick, unless you're ready for the ramifications, because you might wake up in a past where you're not dating yet,
Yeah.
and then he's just gonna come in the classroom.
Or you could be ramificated.
Yeah, he might give you a ram job. So I think one of the hottest things that
I
ever
just
happened
want
to
to
me.
mention that we made jokes about having to listen to other episodes to get our jokes.
Oh, yeah, that's-
you 100%. If you haven't listened to our other,
If you haven't listened, at least I think it's actually titled Capoeira Time Paradox.
yes,
But yeah, I was getting like a foreskin hand job, where it was just like there was no lube on the head. It was just like an all classic hand job. But when I came, she like covered her hand in my cum and like used that as lube to like get the sensitive head, and like it was fucking wild, man. It just came out of nowhere. I was feeling so much sensation. I think I blacked out. But again, you gotta be careful because pre-cum or post-cum, Jesus, it's super sensitive too.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful with that. But what I'm saying is like the head is great, but lube is essential as fuck. I think that's pretty much all we need on hand jobs, right? Like I don't know.
that's a lot of information on hand jobs. I thought hand jobs we were gonna skip right on over.
Nah, man, you should be like, you can always do better in every scenario. So you should do all of them.
Yeah.
Blowjobs.
So here's my thing on blowjobs. I've never given one.
Whoa. You know what? That's actually golden. I have given a hand job to myself.
I mean, technically, yes. We are hand job masters.
Yeah.
I've probably given more hand jobs than any woman alive.
Probably not true.
I mean, like one singular, not like a collective woman.
Yeah, obviously. He said any woman alive, not all women alive. That would be wild. Your dick would be on fire currently.
It currently is,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I'm just a flaming dick man.
I was wondering why the closet's so hot. Why is there a mini fire extinguisher in this box?
So I had an ongoing sexual relationship with a woman for a while. And for whatever reason, we decided to watch porn together one day. And we watched this video, and I was just like, that girl sucks a mean dick. And it got to the point where, like, we then started sharing porn videos back and forth of, like, what we'd like to do to each other, or, like, what we've enjoyed watching and would like to experience.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where, like, it just, like, every box was checked. We just checked every box because, like, we knew what we wanted.
Just no hand job boxes.
Just no hand job boxes. And it got to the point where I was just like, I was like, that girl, that blowjob, that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time it happened, I got it. And it was fucking cool. So like, I think again, if you want to keep things fresh, again, going back to the first question you asked, if you want to break up the monotony, maybe like watch a fucking porn video, or tell him like he's watching porn and he's jerking up. He's doing it. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's happening.
Well, if he's blind.
He's listening to it. There's just a described video.
It's fair. You said watching, so that's all I'm saying.
God,
2019 day.
Yeah, someone's gonna come back to me 10 years later.
Yeah.
Like ask him to be like, the next time you're watching porn and you see a blowjob that blows your fucking mind, send it to me. And then like emulate it as best you can.
Caveats here. One, porn is not always reality.
Yes.
A lot of it is performative, if not most of it. Blowjobs, I think, are a little bit less so, which is weird because, like, it's kind of hard.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah,
for
there's a lot of
blowjob.
stuff that is actually
and
like.
there's things that some people can't deep throat. Some people have a bag, but
and that's fine.
there's
Again, you don't need to worry about that.
yeah, there are ways to train your gag reflex if that's something you really want to pursue.
You also don't need it. I've been with loads of people who cannot do that, and it's totally fine.
Absolutely.
So don't let porn ruin you.
Yeah, I don't think you need to like just swallow dicks.
You also don't need to do anything.
Yeah,
Like flat out, no things at all are you needed to do.
no.
Maybe breathing, but you don't want.
please-
you don't have to
please
breathe,
breathe.
if you don't want to, I guess. But same kind of deal as like the head, super sensitive. So like, use that to your advantage. Suction brings more blood up to the head, which makes it more sensitive. Don't do too much. You don't want to pop that head.
There's literally, hickeys. Don't do
Yeah.
it to a dick.
Yeah, but like a
I
little
mean,
bit
don't
of
do
suction.
hickeys fucking ever.
Yeah, no, ever. But a little bit of suction, totally great. Like, it's what your mouth does. It's great. Use that tongue.
Also, if
You can
want-
go hard, you can go soft,
Yeah.
you can like tease. Don't forget the balls. Also, when you're doing a blowjob, don't forget the hand as well. A little blow, like in and out lip and fucking thumb and pointy finger action over the head
And
is
if you have a
fucking
really bad
great.
gag reflex, use your whole fist.
Yeah.
It will simulate you swallowing
Deep
the whole
throating,
dick.
yeah.
The amount of times where I've been like, well, you got the whole damn thing in there. And I look down and it's like, oh no, you've got like maybe 2 or 3 inches in there.
You're just a sneaky.
And it's like, but I don't give a fuck. If it feels like it, it feels like it. I
Yeah,
don't give a
that's the
shit.
thing. It doesn't fucking matter.
If you get your whole hand on there and like sort of like attach your lip to
Yeah.
the thumb and the index finger and sort of like, even if you're just barely fucking moving it, it's gonna almost simulate like you're
like
taking
a
the whole
yeah.
thing.
Especially when you've, for want of a better word, slobbered all over it.
Yeah.
There's lube everywhere, so you're just going. Don't forget the balls.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, honestly, one of the best things that you can fucking do is if you've got a small, even like a 2 fingers like jerk and suck, while also like caressing the balls just gently, just very slightly, like the amount of sensations that are happening there is like 3 different things are
it's
happening.
wild. It's the
and,
best.
And it's like, it's something that we cannot achieve on our own. It's one
no.
of the rare things that we can't like
Not at all.
simulate.
We can't
because
even
we don't
dream.
have that many hands.
No.
We don't have that many hands.
No,
Unless
we'd
you
have to
have
get,
your
like, a
own sort of
fake
like
hand
apparatus
attachment
yeah.
on your
Yeah, like-
fleshlight if you have one, which we've already answered questions. We know
Yeah,
most
like-
people don't have one.
Or
and
even
then you
just like
have to grab your balls and
some sort of like weird rig where you've got like a feather duster sticking upright and you're just sort of like dangling your balls over it.
but
while
then it's gonna tickle your pleurbus.
yeah, it's there's a bunch of things that you can do that
Yeah.
like but I would sit down and like and like I said again about the watching the porn thing, it's like that goes for you as well.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of watching porn, or if you want to like sit down and like watch things together and be like, if he's like, here's a blowjob scene, watch the whole fucking thing and be like, that's how I want to be fucked.
Yeah.
If she's getting like, bent over backwards some wild ass way and you're like, yep, that does it for me.
Or if you just see like a video of someone going to town on someone's clit and you're like, yeah, your tongue, my clit,
Yeah, here you go.
right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Especially because we're still worried that you didn't mention oral before.
Yes. If he's not going down
If
on
a
you.
finger works in your vagina, think how much better a tongue is
Yeah.
for
She said
everybody.
she didn't like fingering.
Yeah, but like fingering, I assume is like
Inside?
inside.
Yeah.
Like I would never call it clit stimulation fingering, or else I would have not used clitoral manipulation and
That's true.
clitoral deception. One thing that I think is a little fly under the radar you might not think of is try different blowjob positions. And by that, it's not wild, but I mean like some people I know literally cannot come from a blowjob while they're standing up. Beats me.
Yeah, man.
Some people-
I'm very
I-
similar to that. And let me tell you, I will stand when I get a blowjob in order to reduce that sensation.
Oh, okay, interesting. I love standing for a blowjob. I hate lying down for blowjobs. Like I'll still come, but like I just don't enjoy them as much. You know what I mean? Like if I'm on the edge of the bed,
I
or
get to
if-
enjoy them more because I'm like, you could do this all day.
yeah, I feel bad. But like if like for me, it's super hot when someone's on their knees and you're
Yeah.
standing up, and like it's not even just like the visual.
See how much
or,
he
like,
loves you, whether he puts a pillow down on the ground.
Oh, always. I'll take my goddamn hoodie off and put it on the ground if there's no pillows to be seen.
Yeah.
But like it's not even all that. It's just like literally physically the act of me standing. I don't know what it is. My dick just feels better. Whereas when I'm lying
No, for
down,
sure.
it feels a little lackluster. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I'm sure it's a blood flow thing. But like, shake it up. Get him to sit on the edge of the desk. You know what I mean? Get him to sit on the
Well,
edge of
yeah.
the bed. Get him to, all these things. That's a very simple way you can shake things up, and you never know.
Yeah. Blowjob position. Again, if you're on the bed, go sideways. Like,
Yeah.
sort of horizontal. Don't go in line with his body where you're sort of like, your head is in line with him, because that way he can also finger you while you suck his dick.
Yes.
Like and also there's a different sensation.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is if you lie on the bed, if you do have like a fairly, how can I say, receptive gag reflex.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lying on the bed and like your head over, and he can sort of like penetrate your.
Can work with some skull fucking.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like if
Whatever
that's the
you
thing
want.
that you're like,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of things that you can do
But
within
again,
your comfort level.
once it's something you want to do.
Yeah,
Like, don't do things you don't want to do. and that should just be a hard and fast rule, especially like if you start off doing something that you don't want to do and then later on are like, you know what, actually I don't want to do it, then they're going to be like, well, like they're not going to get it, or it'll be weirder or whatever, which again, I don't think that's fair, but I do think it's a lot more possible that they're going to be upset. Whereas if you're like, oh, let's do this thing, and you're like, oh, sorry, I'm not comfortable, then they're not going to be like, but that time.
Yeah.
They could just be like, okay. Hopefully. And if not, then they suck.
If they're a good partner, they'll understand, because at any point in time you could be like, actually not a big fan of this. Even if you were at one point a big fan
and
of it.
that's the thing. By all means, even if you did something you don't want to do and then you want to tell them you don't want to do it, don't let what I said get in the way. Sorry, that was probably a stupid thing to say. But I just mean like, if you don't want to do it, it's always easier to just not have done it ever.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
and if you try it and then you figure out you don't want to do it, again, just tell them you don't want to.
Especially if you're new to sex.
Yeah, you can withdraw consent at any time.
Yeah, you could be like, actually, you could even be like, I want you to fuck my face, and then he can go to town and be like, I take it back.
Yeah,
not into this.
Sorry, that sucks on my throat.
Yeah, or adjust accordingly. But like, you're welcome to. And again, I know we talk about this all the time, and I know we're always like, we shouldn't have to say it, but like, we like saying it. It's important to do what you're comfortable with, and consent is always the base
paramount
requirement of everything.
And also like, I know I talked about the head being really sensitive and kind of the best part, but like, there's no part you should ignore.
Yeah,
get that whole dick, lick it, like, and also, I think we said this about lick outs before, where like sometimes it's hard to like if you want to just do like a really like quick tongue movements, strong tongue movements, that's better like when you get them warmed up. You don't need to do it from the very start. You don't need to just start going ham on that dick, because if the fire's not fully stoked and then you get tired, it's gonna suck for everybody. So you can start slow. You can like do like stronger and less vigorous motions. You can do whatever. You can do a lot of shit and then finish them off quickly, or like whatever.
It's almost the opposite of like sex, where if someone says keep doing that, guys tend to have the like reaction of like, time to go faster and harder. It's like, no, you were doing exactly what you needed to do, and someone says keep doing that, and you've changed.
Also rhythm.
Whereas like with blowjobs, if someone's like, hopefully they give you the
if somebody
warning,
says keep doing that, keep doing
it.
Like fucking please, goddamn, do not stop, please.
But yeah, hopefully they'll give you a heads up that they're about to come, and it's like 9 times out of 10 you can probably kick it up a gear.
Yeah. Firstly, it's pretty nice to give your partner that heads up.
Yeah, please give your heads up.
Secondly, like it's one of those things. I think like you can always get it that little bit fast, a little bit harder when the guy's coming, and also don't stop until he tells you to stop.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Because he will tell you once there's that point,
or we will literally wiggle ourselves off the bed or away from you.
He will fucking like solid snake out of there.
Yeah,
literally. But because your dick's a snake, it's hard. But if you stop, that's just sad town.
Yeah.
Even when you're giving them a hand job, whenever they're
even
coming,
if you don't want to like swallow it, or like regardless, like get as far away as you want from it, and then just go to town on it until he says, "Fucking please stop." Please.
You know what people would prefer? A mess than not having the best orgasm.
No guy is gonna be like, "Oh, I'm covered in cum."
Yeah,
because
and if they are, then I'm sorry.
You've done your job well.
Yeah, there's an issue there.
Yeah,
unless like you're sitting on his like grandma's priceless couch.
Yeah, in which case grandma's right there. Stop it, you fucking pervert.
Yeah, she went to bed though.
Maybe she's just sleeping on the couch.
She's listening to her porn because she's blind. I don't know. That probably does it for us.
Yeah. That'll be it.
Give us feedback. If you want any clarification, let us know. Tell us how you found out about us. And welcome to the vaulted list of friends of the show.
Yeah,
because you are officially
family.
One. Agent Luxury, you're the best.
If I could, I'd give you a Corona right now. Fast and Furious.
Corona family. Fuck yeah.
All right. Do you have some sex writing for us?
I remember looking at the time and being like, wow, we're doing really good. And then shot forward 30 minutes.
Yep. That's what happens when you talk about blowjobs or hand jobs for
that's true
forever.
Well, I'm sorry somebody wants to fucking give people good hand jobs.
They're just not my bag.
You don't know if they're your bag because you
I mean-
graduated early.
No, I've had hand jobs, but it's always
Not
been
good
like,
ones,
well,
apparently.
now I'm also gonna blow you.
No.
And it's like, if someone's gonna give me their mouth over their hand, I'm gonna take the mouth.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm not even pre-reading these anymore. I just have a list and I'm going through them one by one because one, it lets me be surprised, and two, I don't have to go, wait, did I read this one? So you ready?
Yeah,
If it's, you can always veto one. If it's a bag of shit, we'll just do the next one.
Nope.
This is My Education by Susan Choi.
Now, is it My Education or Maya Education?
My Education.
Okay.
Until now, my orgasms had been deep and ponderous things, slow to yield to excavation, self-annihilating when they finally did. So in their wake, I felt voided and calm, every yen neutralized, and gazed on whoever had managed the work with benign non-interest. Never had there been this tormenting, self-heightened pleasure like a hail of hot stones, and yet she seemed to recognize just what had happened, so that before I'd even stopped keening, she bore down again. She made me come so many times that afternoon that, had I been somewhat older, I might have dropped dead. Had I been a doll, she might have twisted off each of my limbs and sucked the knobs until they glistened and drilled her tongue into each of the holes. That's fucking weird.
I mean, it's kind of relevant.
If I was a doll, she would have dismembered me and tongued my holes.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a thing that people do to dolls?
I hope not. Probably sex perverts.
Yeah, I don't. Now I'm always worried about, like, I think back of all the times I went to, like, my female friend's house who've had, like, Barbies that were, like, missing legs. I'm like,
They were just tearing them off and tonguing the holes,
yeah,
man.
did they fall off?
That's how they got...
Were you just playing with them too
No.
hard, or did you suck them knobs till they were glistening?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's how you get good at sex. Obviously, it turned her orgasms from ponderous and self-annihilating, whatever the fuck that meant.
To be fair, that sounds amazing.
Self-annihilating?
If my orgasms were self-annihilating,
Yeah, I feel like that would just... Your orgasm would orgasm itself until it orgasms.
yeah. I mean, that doesn't sound bad at all.
It's like racing
I wanna
a
go
race
back to
car
that.
till it races a car. The nos shook the floorboards off my car. All right, guys, we love you.
That's a deep cut.
I know. That's a joke no one but Dane and two of our friends get.
Yeah. And the people who are just, like, living
Fast and
the
the
fast and
Furious, yeah.
furious life. Yeah.
Oh man, I hope we have at least one person listening out there. Yeah, guys, we love you. This has been great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Asian Luxury, for sending us that very comprehensive email with a bunch of questions. We'll get to the other ones, I promise.
Oh yeah,
you.
next week. And also, you're the best.
If you want to join the ranks of Asian Luxury into friends of the show, all you got to do is send us some questions.
Now the thing is, we have only a certain amount of spots available. I'm not going to tell
space.
you how many,
Yeah.
but oh wait, it says it here at the bottom of this box. Fuck it. Let's
Yeah.
not read that out.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, there's something at the end. It says Dan on it. Hold on, you finish your thing. I'll pull it out.
Yeah. So if you...
it's sticky. It's grody. It's awful. Oh no.
There's a big X on it.
Yeah, it's still singed from where someone tried to burn it, but it resisted.
If you do want to send us a question, or if you have multiple questions like Asian Luxury this week, you can send us an email at fbuddiespodcast@gmail.com. You can send us a message on Facebook or Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at FCK Buddies Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at FCK_buddies. Any question you have, we'll answer it.
Yeah.
Even if we don't think we can,
No.
we'll find an answer for you.
Apart from the one time where we did say we'd answer it and haven't yet, but we did address that and we will.
Yeah, we're working on it. Like I said, we'll find an answer for you. We might not answer
I
it
don't give a
immediately.
fuck. It can be dumb as shit.
You can. I challenge you to find a question that we can't answer.
Well, there's one we wouldn't answer.
What?
A bunch of people ask about our dick sizes a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we said that in our first episode
Yeah, I
where
know.
we're not going to answer our fucking dick sizes because that's not important.
Our podcast is only so long.
Also,
we can't fit in it.
Also, I don't think they've invented a number that high.
No, or that low. You don't know.
You don't know. Maybe it's an inversion number.
Also, guess what? It don't matter.
Yeah. Get over yourselves.
Yeah. You fucking
Perverts.
dirty squeezle.
Perverts. Squeezle. I like that.
I thought you missed it.
No, I heard
That's
it.
my favorite Pokemon. All right, well, it's Dan time because
All
I
right.
just found this dirty, sticky piece of paper at the bottom of this beautiful, well-crafted, quite nice box that personally I would download, rate, and subscribe every goddamn week and maybe give to my friends.
Also, please hit us on one of the Apple
Please.
Podcast app and leave us a rating and a review. That'd be great.
And tell your friends. Because, like, I don't know, we're just shouting into the void here. We don't know who's listening. Yeah, so Dan says, I got dumped and it hurts.
Oh, Dan, have you finally admitted it? Poor guy.
How can that even be an article? I don't know.
Let's just go to wherever he is and just take him out for a pint. And just give him a hug.
I both want and don't want that. Because yes, but also no. But also, yeah, he needs a hug. But also, I don't want to touch this
I think
horrible person.
I think he would literally melt by genuine human
He's like
affection.
the Wicked Witch of the West,
Yeah.
but instead of water, it's just like hugs.
Yeah, it's just genuine affection.
Anything that's not a stock photo just burns him to death.
That hasn't been manipulated. Maybe he's manipulating us right now.
Oh my, that's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. His game is working. We want to take him out for drinks and give him physical affection.
Think about it. We're talking about him every week. We've
Oh my
literally
God.
sponsoring
Are
his
we
post
worse?
for free.
Are we? Oh no.
Oh, Dan, have you done it to us?
God
Damn it.
His game is so strong,
My name is Dave Miller.
and I'm Niall Spain.
And we're your fuck buddies.